The Audi Q4, stylish, spacious and, well, as desirable as you would expect from an Audi SUV, but also really expensive, like really quite expensive. I mean, this exact version was worth more than 60 grand when it was new. But what if I was to tell you it could be bought for half that? And some Q4s are now available for a quarter of that price, as long as you're willing to accept that the number here might not be the very latest. So if you do want to find out all you need to know about buying the best used Audi Q4, well then hang around. Proving that we really do put our money where our mouth is, this Q4 actually belongs to a member of the electrifying team. It's a Sportback 45 Black Edition Quattro with most of the option boxes ticked, and they bought it when it was under a year old for just over half the new price. But there's a lot of info to unpack here, and even the Audi experts can get a bit lost in the badges and the specs, so I'm here to attempt to decode it for you. Let's start at the beginning. I'm going to let you into a little secret. This is basically the same underneath as a Volkswagen ID.4 and even a Skoda Enyaq. They've got the same batteries and motors and lots of other bits too. But the Q4 adds a bit of Audi sparkle, doesn't it? That's been a bit of a winning combination. And amazingly, the Q4 e-tron has been one of the best-selling electric cars in the UK for the past few years. When they're new, they sell mainly to company car drivers who love the low tax rate. But after a few years, they come off those business fleets and try to find new homes. The sheer number of them available keeps the prices down. So hopefully you can pick up a bargain. So the easy bit to spot, Q4 is available in two body styles. You've got the standard SUV, the big seller, or there's this one, the Sportback, which has a more coupe-like profile. Can you see that just there? Looks a bit sleeker, but it is also more aerodynamic. So you get a couple of miles extra range. A win. Oh, no rear wiper. You're going to have to live with that one, aren't you? Now in the Sportback, basically same boot capacity under the parcel shelf. So, I mean, under the parcel shelf, that's kind of the area that you're going to use, isn't it? Unless you're sort of cramming in large pieces of furniture or oversized dogs. But if you do want to see all the details of the Q4, we have actually done a full review and the link to watch that is here. Right, deep breath, because this is where it gets a bit complicated. Badges. If you see a 35 badge, that means it's the smaller battery version on an early car. Then there's the 40 and 50 used on the posher versions. Then the 45 and 55 badges on the newer models, which had powertrain upgrades. Then there are the delightful names. You might come across Sport, S-Line, Edition 1 and Vorsprung. This is a Black Edition, which is a sort of special limited model, which isn't very limited and oddly isn't black either. Anyway, the Q4 Sport is the lower spec, but it is still well equipped. Now you've also got the S-Line, which is this one, more popular, so you're going to see more of those for sale. Bigger wheels, slightly lower suspension, and just a few quite sort of butch styling bits, although I've got to say, it does look good. You've got the Edition 1 and the Vorsprung. They were the top spec and have a load of nice kit. But you've got to bear in mind that the options ordered when the car was new can matter just as much as the trim does. So you've got the Technology Pack Pro and the Comfort Pack, which can add thousands of pounds to the original bill. Now this has got the Premium Technology Pack, optional heat pump as well included in that. So you've got to check what options that it comes with. Don't go and pay more than you want for the options that you're never going to use. Instead, what you need to do is try and find a car that has the kit that you fancy and make sure you're not overpaying for it and it just adds value in terms of the way you use and enjoy the car. Now, if you can afford it, the 2022 model year cars have useful upgrades including 135 kilowatt charging capability and a larger 11.6 inch infotainment display. Then in 2023, Audi recalibrated the suspension, added more efficient motors and boosted the standard equipment levels. Time to now talk about batteries and range. The Q4 was offered with a 77 kilowatt hour battery pack, but there was also the choice of a smaller 58 kilowatt hour pack on the early cars. That was then deleted in 2023, but then in 2025 Audi reintroduced a different small battery pack rated at 59 kilowatt hours. The most efficient models are the rear-wheel drive 45 versions, with an official WLTP figure of 342 miles when they were new, which equated to around 250 to 310 miles in real-world driving. Now, Let's factor in battery degradation, and that real world range will shrink by around 1 or 2% for every year, and 10,000 miles as a rule of thumb. Least efficient, unsurprisingly, are the 55 Quattro models. However, even these came with WLTP figures that exceeded the magic 300-mile benchmark when they were new. Now, smaller battery models obviously have a lower range. The Q4 35 e-tron has an official figure of 215 miles, but you're probably looking at more like 175 real world driving, particularly on a well-used car. That's not to say that the Q4 batteries aren't tough, but all EVs, they naturally lose range over time. You've got battery degradation, the way the car's been driven, how it's been stored, how it's been charged. All of those things are going to affect how well that battery range lasts. If you are worried though, what you can do is go for a dealer that offers a verifiable state of health score. Go to electrifying.com and we can recommend dealers that can help with that. Now, I've looked at some examples online. None of the Q4s that I've seen have dipped below the 90% mark, even one which had done over 100,000 miles in 5 years. There was also one, a similar aged Q4 with 41,000 miles, showed a 93% battery capacity. So it's just something to be aware of. Check it and make sure the battery's still in a good state of condition. In any case, Audi covers the battery with an 8-year, 100,000 mile battery degradation warranty. The rest of the car is covered by a 3-year or 60,000 mile warranty, which is fine, but it seems a bit light compared to other electric car makers. Kia, for instance, offers a 7-year warranty on its EV6. A dealer will usually throw in a year's cover at least, but check the servicing is up to date or you might have trouble claiming. There's not too much to worry about though. The Q4 is a reliable car with any problems that we've heard of are more annoying rather than being catastrophic. One of the most predictable things has to be the infotainment system. It's actually one of the most reliable in comparison to the other VW Group electric cars. So that's a thumbs up, but do check. Make sure, plug in your phone, make sure the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto is working. It's worth checking all of these things. It also comes with haptic buttons up here on your steering wheel. People have a love-hate relationship, a bit like Marmite. I don't mind them. Some people, it takes them a little bit of getting used to make sure you're happy with it. And then just generally check for, scratches, particularly down here by the door bins. Get a lot of wear and tear from exiting and jumping into the car. One thing that has been actually a little bit less reliable is that Ginny was running a Q4 for quite a while and she had a little bit of a temperamental charging flap, and also when she was going to take the charging cable out, it wouldn't. There is an emergency pull cord inside the car, but again, that was a little bit temperamental. So it's just something to be aware of. Make sure you check before you buy. Now, when it comes to running costs, you might be pleasantly surprised. Audi recommends a service is needed every 2 years or 18,000 miles, which will save a few quid compared to rivals, which need to see a workshop every year. The insurance is pretty good value too at Group 26, which is lower than a Dacia Spring. Okay, let's talk driving, shall we? So the Q4, I think it's just one of those cars that it's totally fine to drive. It's just nothing groundbreaking. It's not hugely special. Don't think it's going to blow your mind. In fact, I think I actually prefer the way the Skoda Enyaq drives because it's just a bit softer sprung. It's a bit more comfortable, a bit smoother. But this is stable. It's neutral. It's nothing bad. However, this one's the fast one. This is the 4-wheel drive fast one. So if you want something sporty and seriously rapid, this thing does 0 to 62 in 6.6 seconds. Yeah, I'll have a piece of that, thank you very much. And if that isn't enough for you, the 55 does the same in 5.5 seconds. But if you want to go for the modest 40 model, it does 0 to 62 in 8.1 seconds, which is still absolutely plenty. I don't think any of that is slow, is it? In terms of regen, it's really quite simple, quite basic. You've just got one option. You can put it into the B mode, which you can feel the regen braking kicking in as you lift your foot off the throttle, but no paddles, nothing to worry about, nothing too complicated. Now you can add adaptive dampers on some models, normally it's part of a package, but I would say it's a good idea to get it if you can. It just gives the Q4 a little bit more breadth of ability. If you stick with the smaller wheels, you will still have a decent enough ride, but I think those adaptive dampers just make everything a little bit better, a little bit more enjoyable. Okay, so if you are looking for a nearly new Q4, there's a trap. You need to be aware of this one. You can thank me later. So cars which have a list price of more than £50,000, including any extras, which were registered after April the 1st, 2025, have a nasty little secret. They will be liable for the government's expensive car supplement. What does that mean? Well, you're going to be paying an extra 440 quid for the road tax on top of the normal 200 every year until the car's 6th birthday. So think about that one. So should you buy a used Q4? Absolutely, and actually one of us did on the team. It's been a great success story. There's plenty of choice out there, which means you can be a little bit fussy. Hold out and find the exact car that you want. And it's going to look like an absolute bargain compared to the new price. Personally, I like to look for a well-maintained newer car with more miles rather than an earlier model with low mileage, because then I think you get the benefit of the upgrades that Audi made over the years. And then you can just slap a Cherish plate on it and let the neighbours think you spent 60 grand on it. Well, off you go then. Form an orderly queue for them.